What's up and welcome to our November newsletter. It's always exciting to see you. You're getting out of your own way. We're doing the same, but this month I've got to set you up to use this last bit of the year successfully. I think it's a great time of year to break, to celebrate, to eat, but we also unplug. And we disconnect and we numb and we do all these things that actually retract from our year and maybe even subtract from 2024's successes because we're not intentional. So I want to give you 3 questions today to help you be more intentional going into this last 45-day sprint of the year where you're not necessarily needing to go faster. We just have to be intentional with our time, intentional with our breaks, and intentional with the questions that we're asking. I'll tee you up for that. First, a story. When I was 21 years old, no, much younger than that, 19 years old, I had just walked onto the soccer team in college. It was a Division I program. I never came from a background of successful coaching. I just was a gritty player. I worked incredibly hard, and I had tried out for about 6 months to get on the team. After the fall season, my freshman year, I approached the coach and said, hey, I'd like to try out. We went through a grueling process from January all the way through summer, and I get an invite to join the team. Part of that spring training were friendlies. We played in games, and he would get a look at us. And one game we played, we set up a camera. After that game was over, we all reviewed the film. I have never been more frustrated with myself. It was almost embarrassing. Now, I wasn't the only one being looked at here. We were assessing the whole team, but here you are in the middle of the game, right? You're playing, you're doing everything that you need to do on the field, on the pitch to look good. I'm trying to impress a coach. I'm also trying to be successfully integrated into the team and be a team player. And on the field, you think you're moving 1,000 miles an hour. You think you're doing everything correct. You think you're defending well. And here you go looking at game film, recognizing that
it's not exactly what you thought.
When you zoom out and see the whole game, you can tell where you're making mistakes, where you're out of position, where you're 10 yards away from where you need to be. Maybe your posture is incorrect to receive a ball, or if you're a soccer nerd like me, you may find that the dynamic shape of the team is just not working against another side. And here you are not changing anything. Your approach isn't working. That taught me a lot about life, as sports typically do. I learned that if you zoom out and assess the whole, you can often get much further, much faster. This is what we talk about if you're an enterprising individual, and I know you are. Either you have a business, maybe you have multiple, or you're building a side hustle so that you can escape the job, or maybe you're really happy in the job, but it demands a lot out of you and you have to be creative and constantly improve. Well, this is the same thing we talk about when we say you're working on the business or you're working in it. You're in the soccer game or you're watching game film, working on it and seeing all of it at the same time. Zooming out is a really important part of this end of the year. This is a great time of year for relaxation. I get it, and I think you should. And it's a phenomenal time of year to get ahead. If we use this next 45 days intentionally, you can make 2024 much more successful. And I'm gonna give you the questions to do that. Now, what these questions will help you do is step back so that you can step forward. Stepping back so you can step forwards is a practice. It's taken me a long time to master, but I really do believe in it. It's a phenomenal way to use the last 45 days, sure. It's also a good practice to do more than 4 times a year. It's just critical to making better choices. So these 3 questions, grab a pen, grab a paper, let's go through them, and let's arm you with something that you can do in the end of the year that makes your 2024 much, much brighter. I promise you that. Let's begin. Question number 1. As you assess where you are, this is a really important question. What problems will still be here after 45 days? What problems will still be here after 45 days? Maybe they're challenges. You can use whatever word you want. Maybe you might think of opportunities. What will still be here after 45 days? If it won't be here, then how can I respond knowing that it's going to go away? If it will still be here, how would I respond knowing that it's not going away? That tees you up to start to assess what's currently on your workload and identify where your energy needs to go and doesn't need to go. I love that question. It really tees me up to be more effective with my time, with my energy, even with my focus. That's a really good one to articulate from now until the end of the year. Question number 2, what challenges, what problems, what opportunities are you currently facing that will exist in 2024? And how can I respond to them knowing that they're not going away, knowing that they're not going to disappear? I think this is an important one because we often think of the problem, we put our head down, and it's kind of like being in a soccer game. The ball's at your feet. You don't necessarily see the rest as soon as you look down. You don't see players moving. You don't see opportunities. You don't see passing lanes. You just dribble. In business, we put our head down on problems to try to solve it. But sometimes we put our energy and time into things that aren't going to go away. away. For example, you might be focused on marketing and how to drag in more leads. Well, that problem's not going to go away. There's never going to be a time in business where you can just live without leads. It doesn't work like that. So if you know that problem's not going to go away, how can you respond differently? Maybe you can be less frantic and more intentional, more slow, more mindful of solving the problem for the long run. Maybe one of the problems is like, I don't have enough time. Well, maybe that's going to change. Maybe it won't. I doubt it will. You're always going to have a constraint for time. So what is it that you are unable to do? If you know that that problem is not going to go away, can you begin to delegate more? Can you begin to open up new opportunities to add to your team? What this really is about is getting a zoomed out perspective. We're stepping back so that we can look at the full picture, just like game film taught me. So this question will really help you, especially knowing that 2024 is right around the corner. It'll help you see what of my current workload is not going away. And if it's not going away and it's something I need to do in perpetuity, what can I do different? How can I respond differently? If you're frustrated because you're doing the same thing every week and it's November and you're like, man, I really don't want to do this anymore. Okay, it's time to hire. If you're overwhelmed because you've got a lot on your plate and you just don't want to navigate this hardship anymore, maybe you're tired of selling $5 products and needing to get 1,000 sales a month. Okay, then maybe it's time to build a new product. Maybe it's time to let go of the attachment to the lesser priced object and start to sell something a little bit more expensive. There's lots of ways to use this to your advantage. Let's talk about question number 3. I love this one. What are 3 actions I can take to set up a successful November 2024? That's a year from now. I know you knew that. I just wanted to emphasize it for posterities. The question is rooted in what choices can I make that are long run choices? Not short run, happy-go-lucky, I'm going to fix this right now, but what actually sets you up in the future for success? When you start thinking this way, you have a very different option set. It's no longer going to be, how can I patch this hole real fast? How can I solve this with like a fast email? How can I answer this text really quickly? How can I get a customer to sign back up? It's bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. If you start to look at what's going to set up another November that's very, very different from this one, you got a very different set of constraints. And I think it's worth pausing, especially in a long weekend, taking 3 hours and going to a coffee shop, answering this question along with the other 2, and looking at your future with a bit more discretion. We get so caught up in like solve the problem, put out the fire, that we don't actually solve for the long run. And you may be stuck in this. Your horizon might be way too close to you. We want that horizon to be really far. The bigger your vision, the bigger that horizon, the better choices you'll make. And you might be stuck there with a very close vision, not knowing how to push it out. These questions will help you push it out. So take some time, set up an intentional, a deliberate use of this break to make for a better 2024. Specifically, if you're thankful, if you're proud of what you've done, if you want more, there's no better way to use a holiday weekend. It's not necessarily a fast holiday weekend, right? It's not slow down to go fast. It's step back to step forward. Very big difference. You can slow down. It's important to slow down. I think there's value in that. It's also important to be intentional with how you do that. Those 3 questions will tee you up. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what's coming your way, because there's some exciting stuff happening. We're going to be launching a podcast really soon. I can't tell you any more than that. Just stay tuned, because there's going to be a Get Out of Your Own Way show launching very, very soon, right around the corner, and you'll be the first to know about it. On that show, we've got 5 different objectives. You'll hear some of my personal journey, things that I've learned in the realm of personal and professional development for sure, but you'll also hear about the struggles and the lessons that I've learned through them. I have built a life I'm very proud of, but it has not been easy, and you can learn from my lessons without having to go through the fire so that you can be more fireproof. The second thing you'll do is you'll hear conversations from me and from our integrator, Marty Noki. We have a lot of good, healthy tension. It's how the integrator and the visionary work together. He's the integrator, I'm the visionary. And sometimes it's important to hear how we work together. What is important when we work together? He's got a skill set, I've got a skill set. And if you're on the hunt for an integrator, you have one, or something isn't jiving, you'll learn a lot from our discussions and a lot of our shares. The third thing we'll do is have Marty lead meditation. He's got a tremendous background in it. He does a great job of slowing you down and helping you connect to the parts of you that probably pushed off. Just like I did, I pushed them off. So those meditations are going to be really successful and helpful for you along the way as you learn to integrate all of you, the inner child, the adventurer, the traveler, the wisdom that you have, along with the hustle, grit, and grind that you've already been accustomed to. It's going to be a very successful session. Next, we're going to have interviews from high performance individuals that are on their path. They've been successful and there's a pattern that they've developed. They'll share their wisdom. I'll dig deep with them, but you can learn from them just like you can learn from any other podcast. My goal though is to take it a little bit deeper. And then last but not least, we're going to have live coaching sessions. If you are interested in being on the podcast for a live coaching session, I'll break down where your block is, help you install a new pattern, and identify what the problem is so that you can go into solving it. Because about 50% of solving a problem is knowing what the problem is. So we're going to identify verify that. You'll have a chance to sign up for that if you'd like. More details to that opportunity will come, but pay attention because it's all going to happen in this newsletter. Finally, I want to give you an opportunity to join us at our retreats. We've got one in January. That's our regular open retreat format. We've also got a VIP event in May. So in January, if you're stuck, maybe unhappy, unfulfilled, you're looking for the information that's going to take you to the next level, but you know that information will never do it. You've been caught in a loop, not growing, not exceeding, and certainly not living in excellence. Our January retreat has 3 spots open for individuals that are ready for clarity in where they're going, want clarity in a roadmap, we'll help you build that, and want clarity in who's going to be a part of your team to implement. We'll give you all 3 of those. Clarity in a box. We'll guarantee you a personal breakthrough. We'll help you with your limiting beliefs. We'll help you with the construction of your roadmap, what actions are going to get the outcome that you want. And again, there are 3 spots left, January 11th to 14th here in Arizona. I'm really excited to invite a couple of you out. We've got a great group of 8 already. Again, 3 spots left. Luxury Airbnb, all-inclusive, magical coaching, and really private one-on-one work. It's going to be a great experience if you're ready to get out of your own way. I'm excited for that. In May, we are going to offer a VIP experience. Our VIP event in January sold out in about 5 minutes after announcing it in the newsletter. I expect the same might happen in May. In May, there are only 4 spots. So 4 people, 3.5 days, really intensive work that all focus on your implementation of your big dream, taking that 10-year vision, crafting it down to a 2-year vision, building the roadmap, finding the right people, hiring, delegating, and expanding the organization that you have, as well as a personal values dig and a construction of new goals. So that's going to be a very intense, very, very small event. If you're interested in details of that, the May event, please send us a note, send me a DM, find me on social, whatever it is. Let me know that you're interested. We'll see if we can get you lined up, make sure it's a good fit, and see if you fit the bill. That's going to be great. We're going to have a luxury Airbnb, the food, the adventures, the activities. We'll do some high adrenaline stuff. It's just going to be magical. Those events are really, really special, and I'm excited to be launching that in May. Anyway, I'm so glad that you're here. November is a very special month. I hope that you are thankful, grateful. I'm grateful for you. We are grateful for you. Being a part of this community is no small feat. We're getting out of our own way. I know you are. I know that this year was a success for you, and I know that 2024 is going to be even better. If you want help making it the best year ever, let us know. We've got retreats, we've got opening, we've got some coaching spots that are opening as well. A lot is changing in our world, and it's all because of you. I'm so grateful. Thank you for your time, your attention, your love. Make sure you get out of your own way, and I will see you in December.